Hello everyone, Spooky Guy 444 here. A few days ago, I released part 1 of the Spirit Halloween Iceberg, and I'm really happy to see that you guys really enjoyed the video and were really excited for part 2 to come out. So, today, I am going to be releasing part 2 of the Spirit Halloween Iceberg, going over the final 3 layers of this iceberg itself. If you haven't already, I highly recommend you go and watch part 1 first before you watch this one, so you can get an understanding of what an iceberg is and learn some more knowledgeable and easy to find out facts about Spirit Halloween. But I'm not going to waste any time. I'm Spooky Guy 444, and this is the Spirit Halloween Iceberg Part 2. Hidden Illusions is a product line that was made by Spirit Halloween from 2004 all the way up until 2007. This product line was made of a lot of latex props from companies such as Maybong, which are most notable for their items such as the half-body cross demon, Nailed Down, along with other animatronics not made by Maybong such as the Hungry Harry animatronic. In 2020, several TEKKY Toys prototypes actually resurfaced online. This was around the November to December time, I believe, when all of these prototypes surfaced on the internet. A big lot of them was sold on offer as other people such as Hauntastic and Jaden the Haunter and Jimmy Collector got in contact with other collectors and got a hold of prototypes such as the Head Spinning Girl. Most of these prototypes are still sadly lost, but we do have video documentation of the sample prototype Thrashing Mummy, the prototype Insane Serial Killer, Hanging Butler, and the Head Spinning Girl. However, others such as the Jumping Knife Clown and others that don't really have names are still to this day lost. In 2014, the Moonshine Barrel Zombie was actually intended to come out, and this was not only confirmed, but can also be seen from his online-only box art. As in 2015, Moonshine Barrel's box art was actually the old Spirit font, the one predating the 2015 style, which was a more sleek version of the original slime font. Pop-Up Pumpkin Cat was a animatronic tabletop that was supposed to be sold at Spirit Halloween in 2017 for $40. This item is still at the time lost. We don't even have an image of this animatronic, and we're not really sure if we ever will. I would like to see one of these come up, as it's been a really fascinating piece for me. My assumption, it is kind of like the skeleton cat urn from, I believe, 2015? Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I'm sure someone actually knows the year on that one. And I think it's just a pumpkin with a cat inside of it that rises up. Not really much about that one. Pre-Fright Zone ISE'S are taking back to the in-store experience that predate all the way back from 2006 and under. In 2006, Spirit Halloween actually had little display sets that not a lot of people know about, and a lot of these display sets are actually lost. They resemble something of a cemetery with tombstones and an archway. Not a lot is really known about these, and there's actually another entry on this same layer that goes over an entire ISE on its own from the 1990s. Miserable Marie was an animatronic that was released in 2020, but a little fun fact is that it's believed that the prototype is actually supposed to have light-up eyes. This can be seen from one of the leaked images that came out of the flagship store before it was actually officially opened, as it seems like Mary is turned on and she has white eyes. We're not really sure, this could just be a lens glare, and this is kind of just a strange rumor and a theory, but I guess we'll see if her prototype ever resurfaces. Jack the Reaper mask is actually a mask that was released in 2007. This can actually be seen in product catalogs from that year, but it's a very cool mask and one that I would absolutely kill to own. It's such a cool display piece and such a piece of just spirit history. It's one that I would love to see. In August of 2020, there was a rumor that was spreading around that the Snackin' Stevie zombie baby was actually recalled due to materials that it was made of. This was, however, confirmed fake, but the rumor started as not many stores actually got Snackin' Stevie's, and the only one to surface at the time was the flagship locations one, which is owned by JP Videos on Instagram. 1990s cemeteries are actually ISE pieces from the, I believe, 1996. These are believed to be the first ever ISE'S to ever touch Spirit Halloween floors. These are basically just very basic cemeteries. They housed a lot of these static props that were sold around this time, another entry that we're going to get on later on, and it's very interesting to see this. There's not a lot of video documentation of these pieces, and they're ones that I'd really like to learn more about. Demonic Dahlia was a prop that was sold at Spirit Halloween in the 2019 season. However, what a lot of people don't know is that the original one was supposed to have light up red eyes. I think that they made a smart approach with giving her light up eyes, as with the material that her head is made of, it would basically light up her entire head and it would look very, very stupid. So I think that CCL did make a very smart decision with giving her no lights in her eyes. The movie theater theme was actually a theme that was at Spirit Halloween gallery stores in 2010. There's not a lot of info on this one, and if you actually want to learn more about this theme, I highly recommend you watch the Spirit Halloween Wiki's video going over the Lost Spirit Halloween themes. This is a very interesting theme piece, and one that I'd like to learn more about. As of now, more than likely, there wasn't actually any animatronics in this theme, and it was kind of just there for gallery stores to not look dead. In early 2021, a video would appear of the Gerson International's rendition of the Nightcrawler. If you didn't know, Gerson International is actually the company that a lot of people consider to be SUNSTAR. However, SUNSTAR is actually just a distributor. However, this Nightcrawler knockoff is not getting released for obvious reasons, as Spirit Halloween, I believe, actually got in contact with them for this and basically halted all production. I don't recall what website, but actually 3 of these were for sale for $80 somewhere. Spirit of Christmas was a 1990s attempt at Spirit Halloween's very own Christmas store. There's only one image in the entire internet so far that we know of, and the only evidence of its existence is from an old newspaper, but this is a very, very obscure piece of media, and one that I really want to learn more about, as this entire store is basically lost besides a Santa actor and 2 Mrs. Claus mannequins. It's a very odd store, and I'd be very, very interested to see what they actually had in this store, but only time will tell if anything were to actually resurface. Spirit Halloween actually had the Lord Doc Hanavar mold since 2015, oddly enough. So more than likely, the original Lord Doc Hanavar character was more than likely something else and not actually a vampire. It's unknown what Lord Doc Hanavar would have originally been, but we can assume since it's been around since 2015, it would more than likely fit into the ruins or maybe even the attic, as I can't really see the head working anywhere in the gas station. Uncle Charlie's return has been planned since 2017, believe it or not, and this has been confirmed by very knowledgeable people in the community and also Spirit Halloween associates. Basically, this can be predated with the evidence of animatronics such as Towering Clown and the teasers from 2019 in the Reaper's Wharf with the Cirque du Spirit sign. In 2020, inevitably, Uncle Charlie would release, and it would be a very mixed animatronic amongst the community, as some people really love him, but others hate him. Spirit Halloween in the early 2000s actually sold tinsels. If you don't know what a tinsel is, it is basically a sparkly paper material, and it's commonly used on Christmas items. I actually own a lot of them. I love them to death. But Spirit Halloween actually used to sell them, and a lot of them are very, very rare and hard to come by. They would also sell a lot of cloth-echt Halloween items that are light up and stake into the ground. These are all very, very rare pieces, and if you can find one, I highly recommend picking it up. GROSSFERATU was a static prop made by Morbid Industries since 2004, I believe. What's interesting though is that GROSSFERATU was sold at Spirit Halloween, and there's only one picture that proves this. This picture is actually a Spencer's, however, but it shows GROSSFERATU on what almost every Spencer store has, the little stand. I found this very interesting, as GROSSFERATU, let alone any morbid static from that era, has never really showed up at a Spencer's or a Spirit Halloween until this photo had surfaced. So it's a very interesting tidbit of trivia, and if you are a big fan of the Morbid Industries or Morbid Enterprises company, this is something I feel like you should know. In 2020, a YouTuber known as Raymond Halloween would get a hold of a bone collector with zombie barrels audio. Now, this, however, has been proven to be a glitch, and not a prototype. The glitch basically happened is that Bone Collector and Zombie Barrel share the same board. And with them sharing the same board means that if they are plugged into the same outlet at Circadu Spirit back in the day, it could cause the audios to get jumbled up. Which could also mean another thing, that there are Zombie Barrels with Bone Collector audio. However, so what can be assumed is that if you have a store display Bone Collector, there's a pretty small chance that if you find one, it'll have Zombie Barrel audio. Very, very interesting. In 2020, a rumor was made by Joe Beam Videos that 2020 model jackstraws were not going to have moving arms when they jump up. This was shown by the flagship jackstraw actually not moving his arms up when he jumped, and along with a few other stores which did not show the arm rig moving correctly. However, this was just shown to be either a prototype model or it was just a fault on the people who set it up, because jackstraw would inevitably have rising arm movement again when he would come to stores. CCL made their first rendition of Towering Clown in 2016. There are no images of the CCL version of Towering Clown, and if you remember in part 1, I would actually talk about different companies' renditions of props when I talked about the YJ Flesh Eater. I'm hoping that we can actually see images of the CCL Towering Clown, as it would be a very, very cool piece, but only time will tell. In the early 2000s, Spirit Halloween actually had a Flash game. Sadly, this Flash game is not playable anymore. It's like the catapult games where you level up and upgrade to see how far you can reach. Sadly, since this game isn't really playable anywhere, I can only really show you footage that was taken by Spirit Halloween when they first made this app. Innomar Communications is actually the company that, to my knowledge, creates the themes itself. You can see them as showroom booths with pieces such as the House of Horrors. There are images of their original versions of the Zombie Wasteland, and there's even a strange, believed to be unreleased theme that almost looks like a haunted mansion style foyer. I'm not really sure what this theme is, and you can see items such as Harbinger of Hell and Twitching Banshee in it, but there's not really any information on this theme. In 2009, on Spirit Halloween's Facebook, they would actually make their first ever sneak peek predating anything from the 2014-2013 era. This would be a Rob Zombie Michael Myers edited demo, which a lot of people consider to be a sneak peek. This is a very obscure piece that was only really rediscovered by the Spirit Halloween wiki just not even a few months ago. This is a very interesting thing, and I really think a lot of people should know about it, as it's very important to Spirit's history, and that it's basically the first sneak peek ever put out by Spirit Halloween. Gag Studios was a company that was active from the mid to early 90s all the way up until 2016, when they would eventually become defunct. However, in the early 90s and early 2000s, Gag Studios would actually be sold at Spirit Halloween. Items such as Full Corpse, Gravesley the Butler would be sold in stores, and there was actually footage to prove this. Rockin' Clown was an animatronic that was sold at Spirit Halloween in 2004 for a very, very expensive $400. To this day, we don't have any information on this item besides that it could very well either be a night view or distortions piece, judging by the price. However, I don't think it's either, as with my own info I cannot find any distortions clowns from that time period, and night view just because there's no documentation of a night view clown and the price is very, very steep. Waving Wally is an R word and a P word is actually dating back to a very funny tweet for the R word part that shows a man talking about how Waving Wally said, "All blacks must be the D word." Obviously, he misinterpreted what Wally said, as he said all applicants must be dead. However, this is just a very funny piece to look at. Now for the P word part, it's actually predating his fourth phrase, which I'm going to play right now.
Come with me to the big time. We will have such a fun time. I love to play games. I know the back way into the tent. I will show you the way. Come with me.
This fourth phrase was shown on the prototype that was at Flagship in 2019, and understandably I could see why it was taken out, as he already gives very creepy vibes. So if they were to ever do this and set it out, lots of controversy would be coming their way. There is actually several never before seen prototypes that were made for Spirit Halloween, and very rarely they will actually surface online or maybe even leak. These prototypes are very, very obscure, and there's not a lot of information on them, as Spirit Halloween likes to keep them in a very tight vault. We're actually getting very lucky in seeing some of these never before seen characters through eBay, which a lot of them have been resurfacing on, and have luckily been getting into the hands of haunters. A gemmy tabletop that I'm not sure on the year that this was sold, I believe 2008. It was actually giving special box art that I've never really seen on any piece of Spirit Halloween. It has the slime font, however it's yellow, but it has a different background to the box art from 2005 that was used for the Pelican animatronics. It's a very odd piece, and I've never really seen anything like it. If you have more information on this box art, please let me know in the description below. Janglin Bones Never Existed is also another joke listing on here. As, riddle me this, when was the last time you saw a Janglin Bones video or photo outside of the Spirit store? I've only been able to come across one picture, and that's it. I've never seen Janglin Bones, who, let alone, has been up on the website since 2019, until he eventually sold out. I have never once seen a Janglin Bones resurface online. There is no images of his box, there's only one video of him from Flagship store, and that's it. We've never seen Janglin Bones since. The hearse was a Spirit Halloween, I believe gallery store exclusive, theme that was around the 2008 period. This hearse has no images online, and is a very, very obscure piece that I really want to learn more about. Once again, like I said for the movie theater theme, I highly recommend checking out the Lost Themes video from Spirit Halloween Wiki, as it goes much more deeper into info about this piece. There is actually an inflatable Jack the Reaper. Yes, there is an inflatable Jack the Reaper. It wasn't sold anywhere, and it was only out on display. I'm not sure where. My best guess is Flagship, but I highly doubt it just because no one's ever really brought it up. I'm not sure on a year. I'm sure someone else knows in the comments, so please let me know. This is such a very odd piece, and I really want to know more about this because it looks so dumb, but it's so interesting to me that there's a Jack the Reaper inflatable either withering away in a landfill or some private collector has it. And for our final grand finale, companies don't exist. Yes, you heard me right. There are a few companies that were sold at Spirit Halloween that actually aren't real companies, but are actually just factories that work with different companies that work for Spirit Halloween. I think a really good example of this is WO International. They are actually just a company that Spirit uses that is basically just seasonal visions. WOU doesn't exist, it's just a factory. Another one is the defunct Tailux Artware, as Tailux Artware is actually just a forum factory. There's actually a few other companies like this. I'm not necessarily sure on which ones, but I know there is more. I'm sure someone down in the comments can tell me. But yeah, this is a very interesting tidbit of knowledge, and it should be known. Well, that is the Iceberg. I really hope you guys enjoyed the Iceberg series. This is a series that I've really wanted to do for a very long time, and one that was a while in planning. there's not much really for me to say here. I really hope you guys did enjoy the Iceberg series, part 1 and part 2. Like I said, if you haven't watched part 1 yet, I highly recommend it. It's definitely worth it, and you can really learn about the first 3 levels very well. So, with that being said, I am Spooky Guy 444, and I will see you all next time. Goodbye.